Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Hidayati binti Baharudin. I am student from BA 2505A. So today I'm going to present on environmental issue of air pollution.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti Naziha binti Ahmad. Matric number 2018-435-452.
My name is Hanim Sofia binti Muhammad Soho. Matric number 2018-238916.
So, we're going to discuss on the definition of the air pollution. Air pollution can be generated by human activities and also a natural process. It happens when there are presence of the substances in the atmosphere that bring harmful to human and also other living. So, we can see one of the example of the air pollution is gases such as ammonia, carbon monoxide, and many more. So, this air pollution can bring disease, allergies, and even death to the human and the other living. So, air pollution is one of the scientific risk factor for the disease related to pollution. For example, lung cancer, stroke, heart disease, and many more. So this is depends on the person, how their health condition and also the genetic of the individual. So this is maybe the factor how the pollution exposed to the person. Then we can see the report by the New York Times. They said that the death of the human can be more than 7 million people worldwide each year because of the pollution.
Okay, next is sources for air pollution. Okay, the first one is it is based on mobility of pollutant. There are two types of mobility of pollutant, which are stationary and also mobile pollution. Okay, stationary pollution is a pollution that coming from a fixed sources such as fossil fuel, power station, factory, waste incinerator, and also the other type of fuel burning heating devices. Okay, in a developing and poor country, the most contributing to air pollution is traditional biomass burning that include wood, crop waste, and dung. Okay, second is mobile pollution. Mobile pollution is a pollution that coming from a moving sources such as truck, motor vehicle, marine vessel, and also aircraft. Okay, next is based on origin of two type of origin of pollution, which are natural pollution and also man-made pollution. Natural pollution that are pollution that coming from a natural process such as volcanic eruption and also radon gas. Do you know what is radon gas? Radon gas is a naturally occurring radioactive gas that will cause lung cancer. Radon is a colorless, odorless gas that is formed from the decay of radium. It is very dangerous because it will affect our health. Radon gas from natural sources can accumulate in buildings, especially in confined areas such as basement, and it is the second most frequent cause of lung cancer after cigarette smoking. Smoke and carbon monoxide from wildfire. During periods of activities wildfire, smoke from uncontrolled biomass combustion can make up almost 75% of all air pollution by concentration. Okay, next is man-made pollution, or we also known as anthropogenic pollution. Anthropogenic pollution is a pollution that caused by human activity. For an example is gas emission from open burning, from production activities. Okay, waste deposition in landfill will generate methane. Methane is a compound that highly flammable and may form explosive mixture with air. Methane is also an SPZ. SPZ, do you know what is SPZ? Asphyxiate is a obstruction to a normal breathing, and it may displace oxygen in an enclosed space.
Next, what is the effect of air pollution? Before that, I will tell you what is the impact air pollution to the market. Competitive equilibrium is at point when MPC equal to MPB. When air pollution occur, it will shift MPC curve to the left. It includes MEC. MEC from air pollution is negative externality because costs have to bear by the third party. For example, medical bill. It is not allocative equilibrium because MSC is higher than MSP. So, the obvious effect from air pollution is respiratory health problem to the human. It is probably one of the most obvious and worrying effect for human being. Inhalation of toxic agent directly affect the lung and the other organ that make up the respiratory system. Also, poor oxygen can lead to cardiovascular problems. Second, as the ice mass of the pole melt and the sea level increase, many animal species whose survival depend on ocean arrival are threatened. Current change, ocean temperature change, the migratory cycle change, and many animals are forced to seek food in environment unknown to them. Deforestation and poor soil quality also mean the disappearance of ecosystem and habitats, and definitely an imbalance in the behavior of many wild species. According to recent estimate, the world is losing 137 species of plant, animal, and insect every day to deforestation. A horrifying 15,000 species become extinct each year. Effect air pollution to the plant. Air pollution injury to plant can be evident in several ways. Injury to foliage may be visible in a short time and appear as necrotic lesion or dead tissue, or it can develop slowly as a yellowing or chlorosis of the leaf. There may be a reduction in growth of various portions of a plant. Plant may be killed outright, but they usually do not succumb until they have suffered recurrent injury. Air pollution from gas such as sulfur dioxide are acidic in nature and become corrosive in the atmosphere. Major sources are coal burning operation, especially those providing electric power and space heating. This will lead to gas such as methane, carbon dioxide, and oxygen to get mixed up, thereby changing the temperature. This can cause changing in the rainfall pattern, thereby affect farming system.
Approach to improve air pollution, and the first one is campaign. In 2016, the WHO, UN Environment and the Climate and Clean Air Coalition had launched the Breathe Life campaign to mobilize cities, regions and also countries to achieve air quality guideline by 2030. Okay, the goal is to save life. Stay below 2 degrees Celsius average global temperature and contribute to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. Breathe Life also promote measures that target short-lived climate pollutants that have both a health and climate impact. The campaign is designed to motivate, inspire positive action on the part of individuals, cities, regions, and countries. The challenge is on track to achieve its goal of 7 million kilometers replaced, 1 kilometer for each of the 7 million lives lost to air pollution every year. Breathe Life hopes to provide the political and scientific evidence needed to unite the health and climate communities and to make the financial case for mitigation project that will provide multiple benefit for health, agriculture and climate. The Director General of WHO and the Executive Director of UN Environment are personally calling for cities, region and country to join the Breathe Life network to showcase their best practice and success in tackling air pollution. They also helping to scale up the effort along with the sport organization, association, and to learn about the local health impact from air pollution, and also implement the solution to improve air quality. Breathe Life campaign also launched a challenge to encourage citizens to choose to leave their car at home and instead walk, use bicycle or using public transportation for the equivalent of a marathon.
Next, plant more plants. This is because recently NASA discovered that many household plants can be an instrument to remove the carbon monoxide from the air, and it filters the dangerous compound in the air. For example, peace lily. The leaves from the trees can absorb all the harmful components such as ammonia and sulfur dioxide from the air. Then, trees also can reduce the greenhouse gas effects by the trapping heat. So, if we continue the deforestation, it can serve the consequence of the quality of the air. To plant more plants to soak up all the harmful particles in the atmosphere.
Next, the way to control air pollution by permit trading. Permit trading are so-called cap and trade scheme. They give company the legal right to pollute a fixed amount of time. Company that pollute less can then sell their permit for leftover pollution to company that pollute more. The point of this is that polluting company and public agency differ in their ability to reduce their pollution. Trade label pollution permit can therefore be a cost-effective way of achieve a reduction in overall production. For example, to manage the historic air pollution level, the China government declared a war against pollution in March 2014. Additionally, in August 2014, China's central government announced that it would expand the application of its emission trading mechanism after experiment with a market-based approach through several pilot programs beginning in 2007. Announced that China ambition to establish a nationwide emission trading market by the end of 2017. However, China has experienced serious enforcement problems with its previous environmental protection initiative. It is current uncertainty whether China emission trading program have actually succeeded. There are two components of the system, which is fixed number of permit is issued based on an acceptable level of a pollution set by government, and the permit are marketable. For example, law set a level 100 unit of emission by the government, might be 100 unit maximum permit are issued. So, wherever is it, if the company want to do production, the company have to pollute until 100 unit of emission only. To do more emission, the firm may trade to one another. So, polluter can purchase the right to polluter from other polluter. They can do abatement if they don't want to buy permit whichever are cheaper. So that we can say the permit are marketable because the firm can trade among polluting source. Next, how permit trading can control air pollution, which is there is an incentive to trade as long as polluter face different MSC level. The government has no responsibility for finding the right price in a tradable permit system. For example, suppose a firm 100 permit but normally emit 115 unit of sulfur monoxide. The firm will abate 50 unit of emission or buy 50 permit from another producer. The firm will choose which one option is cheaper. They have incentive to abate and sell permit until MSC 1 equal to MSC 2.
Acidic deposition. What is acid deposition? Acid deposition is any form of precipitation with acidic component with a pH level less than 5.6, such as sulfuric or nitric acid, that fall to the ground from the atmosphere in a wet or dry form. This will make the soil, lake and pond become acidic. The process begin when the typical air pollutant, sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide are transformed into sulfuric and nitric acid. Sulfuric and nitric acid compound in the atmosphere with resultant changes of their properties. These acid compounds are carried by the wind as fine particles on sunny days. They dissolve in raindrops on rainy days or within cloud, then fall to the earth's surface and making the environment acidic. What compounds are agents of acid deposition? Sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide are released into the atmosphere when oil and coal are burned. Sulfur oxide and other sulfur compounds also released by the natural sources such as volcanic activity. Sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide are the major causative agent of acid deposition. And when released into the atmosphere, sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide will change into sulfuric and nitric acid compound by chemical transformation. Why acid deposition and air pollution? Air pollution occurs when pollutants such as sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide form during the combustion of fossil fuel are released into the atmosphere and cause adverse effect on ecosystem and the human body, plants and animals.
SDGs is Sustainable Development Goal. We can define as achieve environmental quality and economic prosperity, which is particularly difficult for third world or developing nations. They apply to all nations and mean quite simply to ensure that no one is left behind. In September 2015, the General Assembly adopted the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development that includes 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Building on the principle of leaving no one behind, the new agenda emphasizes a holistic approach to achieve sustainable development for all. Pictures below indicate the 70 goal in SDGs. Health has a central place in SDG 3, which is ensure healthy life and promote well-being for all at all age. Next, these are the list of targets with relevance to indoor and ambient air pollution include SDG Target 3.9, which calls for a substantial reduction in death and illness from air pollution. SDG Target 7.1, which aim to ensure access to clean energy in home. SDG Target 11.2, which aim to provide access to safe, affordable, accessible and sustainable transport system for all. SDG Target 11.6, which aim to reduce the environmental impact of city by improve air quality. WHO is currently involved in the development and monitoring of the following Sustainable Development Goal indicators: air pollution related mortality SDG 3.9.1, access to clean energy in home SDG 7.1.2, and air quality in cities. Lastly, I will tell you what is relationship between air pollution, biodiversity and sustainable development. Eutrophication is the process of accumulation of nutrients including nitrogen in water body, often result from air pollution. Nutrient overload in aquatic ecosystem can cause algae bloom and ultimately a loss of oxygen and of life. As ecosystems are impacted, so is the biological diversity. Biodiversity underpins economic prosperity. More than half of global GDP, the equivalent of roughly $44 trillion is moderately or highly dependent on nature. Of those living in poverty, more than 70% depend at least in part on natural resources to earn their livelihood, whether through farming, fishing, forestry, or other nature-based activity. In fact, healthy ecosystem can cost 37% of the mitigation required to limit global temperature rise. Reverse biodiversity loss is the only way to restore and sustain health planet, and the life that is supported by plant more tree, reduce pollution, and practice 3R, which is reduce, reuse, and recycle. They all can cut down on the amount of waste we throw away.
Okay, the conclusion is the air pollution also can be generated by both human and natural process. It happens when there are presence of the dangerous and harmful particles in the atmosphere that come from stationary pollution, mobile pollution, natural pollution, and also man-made pollution. Okay, it can the effects of the air pollution can be effect to the human, animals, and also plants. So there are several ways to improve the air quality in order to make sure that air quality is always maintained. The sustainability of the air quality is always in the good condition, such as campaign, plant more plants, and also promote trading. So that's all. Thank you.